NFL is getting ramped up.
Oh, yeah.
So we are less than 2 months. I'll have a counter for us next episode. But not crazy news, but it's just starting to happen. So the franchise tag deadline for extensions passed. So anybody that's playing under a tag, you have the option to extend your contract, negotiate, all that. But that deadline has passed us on Friday. Today is Monday. So Le'Veon Bell officially says he isn't playing football this year. Who cares? We already knew that.
Who cares?
We already knew that. Like, he didn't do nothing with the Jets when he had the entire team to himself. He did nothing there. And now you're going to go do celebrity boxing matches. Whatever. You went from being a great running back with a great franchise to just kind of forgetting that you play football. So, whatever. That's what it is. He said he's not playing this year. I can't see somebody like him coming back next year. Getting back. I mean, Adrian Peterson and a couple of guys did it, but can't see him. He's making music too, boxing, living a lifestyle. That's him. So anyway, the Cowboys have a tag under Dalton Schultz. That is their tight end. And the tight end positions are kind of crazy this year. So Dalton Schultz under the franchise tag for this year. And I do believe that's $10.5 million. Miami tags their tight end, Mike Gesicki. I said that properly.
Gesicki?
Looks
like it.
He's under 10.5 mil. I do believe that is the franchise tag, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So tight ends that are also on the move, that could be on the move next year after their contracts, we have Bob Tonyan. He is playing in Green Bay, so again, his contract will be up next year. Evan Ingram, OJ Howard, Hayden Hurst. There's a lot of decent tight ends there. Obviously, the two that are tagged. Rob Tunyan's had a good, but he's coming off an ACL tear. So we're anxious to see how that goes. Ingram had not a great last 2 seasons, but he was with the Giants. We'll give him credit.
Yeah, give him a bit of slack.
Give him credit. OJ Howard was also injured. He was with Tampa Bay. And Hayden Hurst was with the Falcons. We'll give him credit. All right, we're not going to blame him. So, yeah, tight ends on the move. And as NFL game develops, tight ends become super important. Like, you look at Kelsey and a couple other tight ends, they're just crazy. Like, you look at Waller for Oakland. Those guys are nuts. And they actually end up Kelsey had the most targets last year, I do believe.
Really?
Yes. Again.
That's interesting.
Don't quote me on that, but I do believe. And, yeah, it's interesting. He's a big guy. He runs fast. He can't be covered because he's huge.
Why shouldn't he get the targets?
Exactly. Just give it to him, Pat Mahomes. And there's a few other tight ends like that. So that'll be interesting to see how the tight end game plays out this year. But they get injured a lot. So yeah, we're going to see how that goes. Next, moving through with contract talks. Chiefs left tackle Orlando Brown is playing under the tag this year. So he said no, or there was a disagreement somewhere for this contract. 6 years, $139 million.
Wow, okay.
That's an average of just above $23 million a year with a $30 million signing bonus.
Wow.
He's
not about that.
I can't see why anybody said no to that report. I don't know. It just said they didn't come to that agreement. So I have nothing to say about that because you got to be some sort of crazy nuts. Unless he really thinks, because left tackle is probably the most important position on the line. Usually you're protecting the blind side. That's crazy that someone said no to that.
Betting on himself. He thinks he can get more, I guess.
So he's aiming for having a great season, injury-free for a lineman, and then getting more than that. For that long term, too. That's interesting. So we'll see how that goes out. Bengals DB, Jesse Bates, the third. He'll be playing on the tag this year, and their contract did not go anywhere. So he will be either potentially traded this year, or he will test free agency next year. That's a Pro Bowler defensive back. So he can go in a lot of places. A lot of teams need defensive backs, so that'll be interesting. Coming out of Oakland for news, Kenyon Drake says he will be ready to go. This comes after he wasn't cleared for minicamp after overcoming an ankle surgery. He will be backing up for Josh Jacobs, who is also in his 4th year of his 4-year contract. So I think Oakland's happy he's back. They're going to see how he does coming off his ankle. And they'll probably give him some reps to back up Jacobs and see how that goes. But Oakland's going to try and go on a tear this year. I mean, they kind of have to. So they're going to see how that goes. And then their contracts will probably, I think both those guys, if they have a good year this year, they'll stay connected in Oakland and get extended. But we'll see. All comes down to money.
Usually, right?
Yep. And then really quick, these are just a couple HR pointers.
Oh, yeah.
The Texans did settle 30 cases in their connection with Deshaun Watson. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, so
I'm not a lawyer.
yeah, so don't take that from me.
Advice.
But that's interesting to see that they were able to settle 30 of those claims against their team. So whatever happened with the Texans, I don't know. But from a football point of view, hopefully that franchise can get back on their feet and make something happen. And then Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium was renamed to a 15-year-long contract. Forgive my pronunciation on this. Kreischer? A Kreischer? I don't know. All I know is something like that. All I know is that it is a global fintech leader, and that means it is an insurance broker for these multi-billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
The financial details were left out of this, but the company itself went from $38 million profit to $3.5 billion in 8 years.
Wow, okay.
So they signed a huge thing, and the ketchup bottles come down.
The ketchup bottles. I saw that video. Very sad.
Very divided fan base, I think, too, because obviously your diehard Steelers, that's their home.
Yeah.
But also, this brings in a lot of money, brings in a lot of names, a lot of big names, too, probably in their insurance tech world. That's going to bring in a lot of people to that stadium. But we'll see what happens. I mean,
yeah, the team's got to do what they got to do, it seems. I don't know.
Yeah, you want to see things stay the same and see things grow as a community.
Because change is scary.
Yeah, but sometimes, like 15 years and they're a 3.5 profitable billion-dollar company.
They can afford it.
They probably threw some good money out there. So anyway, that covers it pretty much for NFL this week.